There was no official announcement. No schedule was leaked to the media. But the news of Taehyung and Jungkook spending time in the Sea of Japan before returning to Korea spread quickly, as if whispered from heart to heart. Not as a sensation, but as a piece of story that feels warm, calm, and very human. In the midst of a world that continues to demand the spotlight, these two big names have chosen precisely the quietest place. The sea, the salty wind, and the time that runs without counting. They don't come as stars. No red carpets, no professional cameras waiting. There's only the pounding of the waves, the sky that changes color slowly, and the silence that they rarely have. Japan, with its gentle natural rhythm, bears witness to simple moments that actually feel so meaningful. Taehyung and Jungkook seem to enjoy every second, as if they want to keep those memories deep before returning to a noisier reality. Sources located around the location describe an atmosphere that is far from luxurious. They walk casually, dressed in simple clothes, without flashy escorts. Sometimes sitting looking at the sea, sometimes walking down the beach without a clear purpose. No loud conversations, no excessive laughter. Only two best friends share space and time, letting nature speak first. For Taehyung, the sea has always had a special meaning. There was a calmness in his way of looking at the horizon, as if each wave brought home pieces of his scattered mind. Jungkook, on the other hand, looks more silent. Not an empty silence, but a full silence. His gaze is often directed far ahead, as if trying to understand himself through the reflection of water that never stops moving. Together, they do not need to explain anything. Silence is enough. This moment occurred in a very symbolic time. After long months full of schedules, expectations, and pressures that are not always visible, a short trip to the Sea of Japan feels like a deliberate respite. Before returning to Korea, before returning to their roles as global figures, Taehyung and Jungkook seem to choose to be their simplest selves first, not as an icon, not as a representation, but as two human beings who are tired and need to breathe. That army who learned of this news responded with mixed emotions. There is a sense of excitement, there is a sense of protection, and there is a quiet happiness. Many feel that this is what has been expected for them, a time without demands, a moment without highlights. Not a few interpret this trip as a form of tacit support for each other. Without the need for public statements, their togetherness already speaks clearly. What makes this story even stronger is its simplicity. There is no drama, no forced grand narrative. That's precisely why this moment in the Sea of Japan feels so real. In an entertainment world that often exaggerates the small things, Taehyung and Jungkook choose to downplay the big things, making togetherness something personal, not public consumption. Some observers see this as a reflection of a new phase in their lives. The more introspective Taehyung, the more selective Jungkook. Both are at a point where silence becomes a necessity, not an escape. The sea, for all its unpredictability, may seem honest to them. It doesn't demand anything, it doesn't ask for performance, it just offers space to exist. That IT is not known exactly what they were talking about there. Maybe about the future, maybe about trifles, or maybe not much to say at all. But the presence of each other is enough. In an industry that often feels individualistic, this kind of togetherness is a reminder that bonds built over the years don't just disappear. It changes, matures, and finds its own form. When they finally prepared to return to Korea, the Sea of Japan was left without a major trace. No dramatic breakups, no deliberate cover-ups. But the moment remained, in their memory, and in the hearts of the fans who knew about it. A short pause, but perhaps very decisive. Taehyung and Jungkook return to the world that awaits them with all its demands. But something has been left on that shore. A slightly lighter weight, a clearer mind, and memories that don't need to be shared to be meaningful. And perhaps it was precisely from that moment of silence in the Sea of Japan that they stepped into the next round with a calmer heart, carrying an invisible but very felt force. After returning to Korea, the impact of a short trip was felt even though it was never directly pronounced. There's a subtle change in the way Taehyung and Jungkook carry themselves. Not something the camera catches easily, but it's pretty obvious to those who are used to reading body language and nuance. The calm clings, like the rest of the smell of the sea that has not completely disappeared from memory. As if the trip is not just a vacation, but the process of tidying up before returning to face the world. Many believe the Sea of Japan to be a safe space for them to give up the role. There, Taehyung does not have to be an artistic symbol that is always full of interpretations. Jungkook doesn't have to be the center of endless expectations. They are just two individuals who have gone through a long journey together, sitting on equal footing in the face of nature that is far greater than any human spotlight. In that context, popularity becomes small, almost meaningless. Several people who had seen them mentioned how the two seemed in sync without much of a word. Sometimes Taehyung goes first, Jungkook follows a few steps behind. Sometimes the opposite. There is no necessity to be physically aligned, because that closeness is already established at a deeper level. This kind of relationship no longer requires proof. It exists because time has forged it. This trip also led to many reflections among fans about the meaning of Taehyung and Jungkook's togetherness during this time. Not in the context of excessive romanticization, but rather as an example of a bond that survives in the midst of tremendous stress. Years of being under the spotlight, growing up together, falling and waking up in the same space. All of that creates its own language between them. And that language, in the Sea of Japan, does not need to be translated. Some see this moment as a form of emotional protection for each other. When the world feels too crowded, choosing to go together to a quiet place is not a trivial decision. It was a tacit statement that they understood each other's limits, respected each other's fatigue, and took care of each other without having to be announced. In silence, they instead find the strength that is often lost amid the cheers. Interestingly, there was no attempt to capture this moment publicly. No intentional uploads, no official narrative form. It's as if Taehyung and Jungkook agreed that some memories don't need to be shared in order to remain intact. This attitude contrasts with today's culture, where almost every moment must be proven to exist. They choose the opposite, to let the moment live only for themselves. When the army heard this story, many were relieved. Not for getting new content, but for knowing that the two figures they love have a safe space. There's a sense of peace in imagining Taehyung and Jungkook sitting looking at the ocean, with no pressure to be anything other than themselves. In a world that often takes more than it gives, the moment feels like a small, meaningful gift. This trip to the Sea of Japan also seems to confirm one important thing, that their future is not only built on ambition, but also balance. Taehyung with his emotional sensitivity, Jungkook with his inner reflection, both are in a phase of life where taking care of yourself becomes as important as working. And perhaps it is precisely from such a balance that more truthful works will be born, and oh, one knows for sure if they will return to that place one day. No promises were made, but the sea, like memories, is always there. He waited without demanding. And for Taehyung and Jungkook, knowing that there's a place where they can pause together might be enough that, in the end, the story of the time they spent in the Sea of Japan is not about the destination. It's about choice. The choice to be silent, to be together, and to keep things the world doesn't need to see. In the midst of all the hustle and bustle, Taehyung and Jungkook show that true power is sometimes born from the simplest moments. And precisely because of its simplicity, this story will continue to be remembered, not as sensational news, but as an honest and rare fragment of humanity.